Welcome to Inspired by Nikki. Today we'll be answering your questions. You have questions, we have answers.
All right, question number one. This will be fun.
We had to really filter it down. We had thousands of questions.
No. 15 questions came in. Digital Teacup wrote in and said, if you and Nikki could travel anywhere in the world together, where would you go and what would you do?
I like to travel to a safe country, another safe country where what I really like to see is the pyramids, the Mayan pyramids in Mexico. But I don't know.
So you want to go back home?
I want to go home.
Okay,
We
so
wanted to
that's
go back home for
where
a
you
while.
want to go. Anywhere in the world, that's what you want to do.
No, if we can go anywhere in the world, I would like to go somewhere really green. Somewhere where Nikki would want to live.
We don't think much about traveling.
We don't think about traveling that much because it feels like it's out of our reach. It is so
When we get to that point,
it's so far that it just doesn't. Right now what we're thinking about going is going to Lake Havasu. That's because that's a 2.5 hour trip.
Away.
And we think we can make it.
Pretty soon.
I think we'd like to go somewhere beautiful.
I want to go somewhere where there's beautiful architecture, a lot of history.
Yeah, I think it'd be really neat to
Rome.
see Rome.
Yeah. Barbara Peterson said, what is your next project?
My next project is to not have a project. Tired of working on this house.
You've not had projects. I haven't covered anything.
My next project is to put a paper towel holder in the kitchen.
Kathleen Hemingway wrote, what is your favorite thing to do with your children?
The most fun I have with the kids is when we go somewhere like a Chuck E. Cheese style of area. We have we have one here that's called Incredible John's Pizza and
John's
Incredible Pizza. And what it does, it has a lot of games and there's a lot of tickets to be won. And what I like doing there is I go figure out a game where I can get a lot of tickets, and I like getting thousands and thousands of tickets so the kids can get all the nice big prizes. And that does not work out. I end up spending more money for these prizes that aren't worth much, but the experience is what matters to me. The girls get really excited. The kids have a lot of fun. We play games. There's even rides in this location.
He has his own personal cheerleaders.
I just feel like when I was a kid, things were so unattainable to me. Now I really feel like I have to do that for the kids. So it's just, I know they're only going to be little for a little while. So it's just important for me for them to really have a good time. I tend to go overboard when we take them places like that, just because I'm kind of a sucker at saying yes. And before you know it, we have 35 stuffed animals that we're bringing home.
Susan Velez says, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years?
Yes.
I have a problem with looking ahead in
planning, goal setting.
In 5 years, I just hope we're doing better than we are now.
That's a plan for success.
That's good, right? You always got to do better. The biggest fear of mine is always going backwards. I just always want to be moving forward in our life, in our efforts.
What does forward look like to you?
Forward looks like to me is just, doing better at work, doing better with our relationships, just growing as a person, maybe shrinking in physical size, being in better shape.
Next question by Megan Molesworth. How does it feel to be so good looking?
It feels great. I highly recommend it. If you have a chance.
What in the
Thanks,
world?
Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Alicia Woodward said, what is your favorite movie?
Back to the Future trilogy.
Which one out of the trilogy?
We all saw them recently with the kids, and they're all really good, but my favorite has to be the third one. It's really hard between the first and the third.
What do you like about the third?
It's just all the characters are so good. It's just the story was written really well. All the characters are just really good actors, and it's just a very well written movie.
Okay, Coming Clean with Renee said, what age will you have Ivan begin helping do yard work?
He's been helping me already. I try to get him out there as much as I can. He's not the greatest worker, but he's
his future employer, if you're watching this.
It takes him a little bit to get him going, but we found that when I really, either take something away that he really likes, or I'm going to reward him with something that he likes, it's really motivates him. So he really has to feel like he's getting something, which, it sounds kind of messed up because you think they should just do it because we tell them to, but let's be real here, that we all motivate our kids to do things that they might not inherently want to do.
Melissa Jeffers says, did you have a background of Christianity and faith, or did you grow as you met, married, and began a family with Nikki?
I didn't really have faith growing up. I always believed in God. My parents always talked about God, and so we were Catholic, but we didn't attend regularly. But I always believed that there is a God, but I didn't really understand what it meant to be a Christian until I met Nikki. But I was not looking for that. Now, when I started going with her to church, then that's when it really started getting to me. So I didn't plan on it, but when I met her and I went with her,
you didn't seek it out, you didn't plan on it.
I didn't seek it out.
Which leads me to Rebecca's question, which is, besides church and Bible study, do you do your own in-depth study or Bible journaling?
I don't study as much as I like to, if I'm being honest with myself, but I do a lot of independent research myself. But when I find myself studying the most is when I'm talking with friends that are of other religions, and I really like talking to people that have in-depth knowledge of the Bible, because it's challenging to come. I think what the biggest thing with the Bible is trying to come to a common understanding of what it says. So it's interesting to hear how somebody might interpret one thing, and I think it's good to turn to the scriptures to really see what it says. And I think that's where I do a lot of my studying, or not in a malicious way, but I find myself, when people misquote things in the Bible, I like to always show them or tell them that that's a misunderstanding that people think. Now, I've had a ton of misunderstandings before I learned the Bible. There's just so many things that you think are a certain way, but they're really not. And it's just I really like getting in depth with people of other faiths about what the Bible really has to say about things.
That Lady Glows said, would you ever do a My Husband Does My Voiceover video?
Yes. Next question.
Pronounce it. Amna B says, do you want more kids?
No.
No. Sometimes I would say that we get into like how neat it would be, and then the kids want us to have more kids, but then you're around other little babies and You're just like, I'm glad we're
Get me
past
outta
this.
here.
I'm glad that, you know, our kids are, like, we've been through that stage, so.
I think it'd be exciting and it would be, but I feel like
Are we going to seek it out?
we're
No.
in our mid-30s now and we're relatively young parents, if you think about it. I'm scheduled to be 46 by the time Aria is 18. So it's one of those things where it would be really exciting, and we recently saw a video of Ivan when he was a baby, and he was, you know, it's just so cute, and it was just a really fun time. But the fact of the matter is that we're not spring chickens anymore, and I really like to sleep at night. So
we need our sleep.
And 8 years ago I got a vasectomy, so that's really not something that
we're
is
not going to
feasible.
We'd rather put the money into other things than
We're not going to get to
reversals
Rome
and-
reversing my vasectomy. I'll tell you that right now. We got places to go.
And she also says, what is your best memory with Nikki?
I think my best memory with you is having Ivan. And it sounds kind of, it sounds sad to the other kids, but it's not.
It was a life-changing moment.
Right, because it was just really exciting, you know, because to be honest, like the main, to me, that's what, it sounds kind of weird, but I guess as a guy, but like I always wondered what my kids would look like, how they would be, what they would be like, and just who they, you know, the kind of, just something coming from you was a really cool thought to me, and I knew it'd mean a lot to my parents. And so when we found out, and then we were married for a while before we got pregnant with Ivan. She might have had some miscarriages, we don't know, but to actually find out that she is pregnant was just really exciting. It's probably the happiest time of my life.
Okay, how much do you weigh? She wants to know.
I weigh 235 pounds. That is, technically, I'm obese. Just to put things into perspective, I was 185 when I met Nikki, so to be 235, that's really, I'm up a lot.
Miss Amelia said, how do you remove wood laminate flooring in order to lay down interlocking flooring? Or can you lay on top?
The best way to remove wood laminate flooring is to pay somebody to do it. Now, it depends what kind of laminate you have. If it's real flat and thin, tight to the ground, then you can lay right on top of it. But ideally, the best way is to rip it all up and start from the base.
And last but not least is Jennifer of the Daily Connoisseur. She says, where do you see yourselves in 10 years?
10 years.
That
10
means
years.
Aria will be 19 almost.
We'll be free from children, technically.
That's with our last one having graduated. So what are we gonna do with ourselves?
I don't know.
Man. Where do you want to be? I think a
hard to
lot of it
imagine.
depends on family.
It's hard to imagine because I really live in the moment. I'm spontaneous. I like to get an idea and run with it, but it's hard for me to really look that way. And then I think back to myself when I was 20, you know, when I met Nikki, 20 years old. I could have never imagined myself being 36 with 4 kids and 2 dogs and 6 chickens. You know.
Do you plan on moving away from here? Moving us away from here?
I think if we can one day, I'm not against it. I think it's hard to predict where your kids are what stage of life are they gonna be in? Are they gonna be in school? You know, do you need to help them? Do you need to? But it's just kind of unrealistic to think that all our kids are gonna stay here or stay close, or you know, everybody starts their own lives. And that wraps up our Q&A. you have any more questions, don't leave them in the comments.
Oh my gosh.
If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments.
Maybe we'll do.
Why don't you do a Q&A for Nikki?
No. Any question that people ever ask me, I pretty much always answer within the comment section. Although now I'm kind of getting away from answering every comment. That's hard.
Don't be sad if Nikki doesn't answer your comment. There's other things. She has a lot of responsibilities. That light is really bright.
Yeah. All right, so.
Thank you for your questions.
Now you get all excited.
I'm trying to be focused. I'm trying to. You're boring. Thank you for your questions.
I'm gonna leave that in there.
No, then people are gonna think I'm mean.
You are. Okay, here's a question I'm gonna throw in there, okay? Where do you see us with this channel in 5 years? Do you think it will still be around? Or do you think I will have thrown in the towel?
In 5 years.
Where do you think this channel's going?
Nowhere fast. Just kidding. There's just so many variables to having a YouTube channel, and the market is so flooded with husband Q&As and stuff like this that a lot of people just, I don't know, I think they're just, people get tired of the same thing, and
the same people.
Sometimes. I don't know, 5 years, I don't see why you would quit YouTube. I think there's always something to share, but sometimes life's passing you by fast.
You mean to quit so that you can be involved in life?
Yeah.
That wraps up my channel.
Well, we want to thank you guys all these years of joining us, and please keep watching the reruns because they're still monetized and we will still get a little bit of money.
Let's keep watching the reruns.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then we'll.
Do you know I had like
Then
this,
we'll come back.
I had this thought today of what if that's what happened here today?
Well,
that this is the last video.
This is the last video. Sorry to let you guys down. You know, that's, people don't do clean breaks. They always do the clickbaity, our last video and why we're saying goodbye. And then, you know, you gotta do like a sad look or like the crying face. Gotta squeeze a little bit more out of YouTube before you leave.
So are you gonna do that?
You're not quitting YouTube.
Okay.
We got bills to pay. We don't quit YouTube because of financial reasons. So,
okay, so when we have no...
please like this video so we can get
and
more views.
Subscribe to Patreon.
We just want to thank everybody for watching this segment called Ask Jorge Anything. Apparently there's not much to me. What you see is what you get.